I'm Paul Buckheit, author of Boomer Boys. Boomer Boys is a memoir about the 1950s. It offers the reader two very different perspectives. First, a thoroughly researched overview of a fascinating and often misunderstood era that has direct connections to the present day. And second, a nostalgic return to the lives of two little boys in a typical 1950s neighborhood. The world of today started in the 50s. Teens had rock and roll music, cars, and plenty of disposable income. They had the drive-in, bobby socks, and a pack of Luckies rolled up a t-shirt sleeve. But teens of the 50s had their problems too. Juvenile delinquency was on the rise. Young boys wanted to be like James Dean and Marlon Brando. The number of teen arrests doubled during the decade. Teen birth rates reached their highest point ever, before or since. For adults, the 50s marked the white exodus to the suburbs, where men worked in advertising and women struggled for gender equality. The wife of Dale Carnegie, whose first name wasn't even mentioned in her 1954 article in Coronet magazine, said that women must use their pretty heads to help their husbands succeed. In many ways, the struggle of women paralleled that of blacks over the same period of time. The beginning of the civil rights movement occurred in the 50s, and it's covered in the book. Also covered in Boomer Boys is fear of the bomb. In schools around the U.S., students were instructed to hide under their desks and duck and cover drills. Some children were issued dog tags to help identify them in the aftermath of an attack. At home, some families were spending half a year's income on fallout shelters, oftentimes with guns near the entrance to keep out desperate neighbors. Boomer Boys also relate some personal memories, like buying a Coke. No plastic bottles back then. Our 5-cent Coke came from a machine that plopped a cup down in front of you, deposited streams of syrup and water into a perfect blend of the age-old recipe, and then splashed a silvery topping of crushed ice on the bubbly, refreshing mix. Except sometimes a cup would get wedged in the dispenser tube on the way down, causing syrup and water to come streaming past where it should have been, so you'd have a second or two to reach up the tube to release the cup as the sticky goo splattered all over your fingers and onto the floor. Thanks for listening. Please check out our website at BoomerBoys.org.